United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Council members Galloway?
Here.
Martin?
Here.
Piana?
Yes.
Lennon? Mayor Coulter?
Here, yes, thank you. We have a quorum. Councilman Lennon called, and work has taken him to Grand Rapids today, and so if council is so inclined, he would like an excused absence. Would that require a motion, or?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I would move that we excuse Councilman Lennon's absence.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next item of business would be the approval of the agenda. Any comments, corrections, changes to the agenda this evening? Like a motion would be in order?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Moved by Piana, supported by Galloway. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Council members Galloway?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Piana?
Yes.
Mayor Coulter?
Yes, thank you. The agenda is adopted. Next item of business would be presentations. Our first presentation this evening is a resolution of condolence for the family of West Bloomfield Police Officer Patrick O'Rourke. I don't see our police chief here. He's the one that introduced this item, but I'm happy to read this on behalf of the city of Ferndale, if you'll indulge me. Thank you. At a regular meeting held September 24, 2012, Mayor Coulter and the Ferndale City Council adopted the following resolution. Patrick John O'Rourke, 39, of Fenton, Michigan, born December 11, 1972, to Daniel and Arlene O'Rourke. He faithfully served 12 years with the City of West Bloomfield Police Department, protecting and preserving the peace and well-being of its citizens and visitors. On the evening of September 9, 2012, officers responded to a call for assistance, resulting in Officer Patrick O'Rourke giving the ultimate sacrifice for his community. Patrick is served by his loving wife, Amy, children Eileen, Mary, Andrea, Stephen, parents Daniel and Arlene, brothers Richard and Daniel and Scott, mother and father-in-law, Stephen and Linda Corey, and family. Therefore, be it resolved that we, Ferndale's elected officials, do hereby extend our community's deepest sympathies and condolences to the family of Patrick O'Rourke as they celebrate his life and mourn the loss of their beloved. Adopted unanimously by the city of Ferndale. Thank you all very much. Chief, did you want to, I read the resolution in your absence, but would you like to speak to this? If you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do appreciate the resolution. I did attend the funeral, as did many of our officers in the surrounding communities. It was probably one of the largest that I've seen. It was very heart-wrenching, as you probably can imagine, but the least we can do is we did prepare several a plaque that we traditionally do, and we've sent that on to the family. It was very well received by many of the agencies that saw it, and we've started that as a tradition now. So I do appreciate that the council brought forth that resolution. Thank you.
And thank you for suggesting it. Thank you. Our next presentation this evening is the Ferndale Garden Club. I think we have some gardeners in the house tonight. Please.
Hi, I'm Carol Olson from the Ferndale Garden Club. I'm the president. The Ferndale Garden Club was organized in 1931 and still going strong today. We meet the second Thursday of each month, September through May, at the Ferndale Community Center at 7 p.m., with speakers giving programs on garden-related topics. The Garden Club created and maintains the community garden on the West Oak Ridge at the end of Livernois, and lends a helping hand with the Ferndale Community Center Gardens. The past 15 years, the Ferndale Garden Club has granted graduating students of Ferndale High School with a scholarship. In keeping with the club's community spirits, we have assisted the Memorial Association with planting up flowers at the Memorial Mall on Livernois. This spring, while planting flowers with the Memorial Association to beautify Ferndale, Cindy Schnard heard Barb's woes on how the city's cutbacks has affected the Memorial Associations with fundings for the flowers. Cindy dreamt up and executed a plan on how to raise some money to help the Memorial Association with the garden party fundraiser, which the Ferndale Garden Club supported. This evening, the club is proud to present the Memorial Association with a check of $200 to purchase flowers next spring.
That's great.
On behalf of the Ferndale Memorial Association, we'd like to thank the Ferndale Garden Club for their generous presentation of this check in support of the Ferndale Memorial Association. The Ferndale Memorial Association meets on the third Tuesday of each month at the Kulik Center, and all are welcome to join us. The funds that we've received this evening will be held to go for the renovation of the mall and the continuation of the Ferndale Memorial Parade every year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for all your work. Thank you. And Carol, thank you very much to the club. Please let all your members know, some of whom I think are here, how much we appreciate that. Thanks. Our next item of business would be the 2012 Beautification Awards with our own Peggy Snow. Want me to come up? Yeah. Oh, and we have that. Yes. She'll have those for us.
Good evening, everyone. I always hate to see these awards being given out, because to me that's one of the signs that summer is over. You know, all the different little things that, you know. But our first award, we go June, July, August, and September. And so this was given in June. The business that we gave in June was the Green Daffodil at 624 Livernois, and that's, there's the picture? Yeah. This is the second year that we've had the pictures, and they're behind me so I can't see them, and they look really nice. So I don't really have to say anything because you can all see. We should move on.
Except we're in your way.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. And the next one is a residential, Diane and Dave Smith, 744 Pearson Street, I believe. Come on up. Come on up. You know, when we take the pictures, like this was the front, a picture of the front yard. You know, only one picture doesn't always describe the whole piece of property. I mean, they have beautiful flower beds on the side, and their backyard's lovely. So you're just seeing like the front of the house, but there's a lot of other things that we can't see here.
I got about 200 pictures on my camera.
Well, now you have an award to be taking a picture of as well. Thank you.
And the next residential for June is Nancy and Richard Jackson at 401 East Oak Ridge.
I asked her if she was going to describe it, but she said, no, the picture's up there, they can see.
Yeah.
No, this is a xeriscape. I'm a master gardener. I've been wanting to do that forever.
Wow.
Take out the whole front lawn.
It's beautiful.
And now my two neighbors have copied, and we're having a lot.
That's what happens.
Quite a little water, and there's a barrel on the side, and everybody's happy. It's beautiful.
Very good. And okay, and John Flores and Butch. Oh, okay, I must have turned 2 pages there. Yep, I did. Sorry. Thank you. This is because I knew this should have been a commercial one. Okay, so now for the commercial for July, and it's R&S Resale and Estate Services on 3335 Hilton Road. That's a nice little area over there. A lot of the businesses are sprucing up and whatever. And he doesn't have a lot of property there, but he added hanging baskets in the tree out front, and he had little pots on his front windowsill, so we thought that was kind of attractive. And now it's for the residential, for John Flores and Butch Yuhas at 311 West Breckenridge. Come up, please. These people were, this nomination was called into me. Not only does their property look very nice, but they've done a lot of things to help their neighbors on the street, so they are also spreading it around on their block too, you know, like the other people were saying. And then Carolyn Clark at 370 East Woodland. Okay. That's a really nice corner house, and it actually is by my house, and I see every year she adds more and more and more, and it's really eye-catching. Okay, the commercial for August is Design Studio at 530 Hilton. Now, I know when we told him he won the award, he said he was going to be out of town, so he's not here this evening. But isn't that beautiful? That's another one on Hilton Road. That one's more down by 8 Mile, where the resale shop was down by 10. I mean, yeah, 8 Mile. Mm-hmm. And just beautiful. And let's see. It's one of those gardens, too, that doesn't need a lot of water. Ornamental pear trees and main grass and very little water needed, so it's easy for him to maintain.
And he lives there, too,
Yes,
right?
he does, actually, yes. Mm-hmm. So then the residential one is Angela Fisher and 169 West Maplehurst. Okay. We spotted her house when we were walking in the parade, and we all said, oh, there's a winner, so we gave her an award. And the next one is Mark Queentree and Shane Lowell at 537 East Maplehurst. Okay, please. Nice to see them. They were nominated by a friend, and I like to read what the people write about them. It says, constant care and hard work have created an exceptionally well-maintained, visually appealing display of plants and flowers, especially in the backyard. So here's another one where the backyard is also very attractive, but we're just seeing the flowers. And this is for a rental home that someone spotted. Eleanor Milkey at 565 West Breckenridge. And it's just a lovely building. So well maintained, and it's an old, well-kept building, and we just thought she deserved to be recognized. She lives there also. She's an elderly woman, but she lives there and makes sure that everything's tip-top. And this is our Coneflower Award. We gave it to Lisa and Michael Smith at 1454 West Troy. And when we took the picture, of course, with the drought and whatever, the lawn and everything doesn't look that nice. But there's a nice picket fence back there, which is a natural wood looking, and it blends in nicely with the house. And those are all coneflowers along the front.
Which is the city flower.
Yes, it is. Thank you for reminding me. About 5 years ago, we changed the city flower from the zinnia to the coneflower. So, and September commercial award is for the Imperial. It's called Woodward Imperial at 22828 Woodward, and this has really changed from what it used to be, and it's very eye-catching. And I had never been in there till I went to tell them about the award, and it's really nice and open with like the garage doors that open. There was a nice breeze blowing through. It was very, very nice.
And really good food, too.
Yes. And the next one is Mr. and Mrs. Anton at 503 East Breckenridge, and they're here with us this evening. As you can see, they have a very nice front yard, too, with a large variety. They've taken over their whole front yard with a large variety of plants.
Is there a lot of weeding entailed with that? Yeah. And
the last residential for September is David Ackroyd and Jose Rosario, and I believe they're coming up. They live at 1396 Albany. Another property where they've taken over the whole yard with flowers. It always looks so nice. And our last award is kind of an unusual one. Somebody nominated it, and we really didn't know what kind of an award to give it, but we thought it was very, very nice. And so we named it the Graffiti Art Mural. And, no. So it's on the Toast building, and I don't have that address, but it's on Woodward. And there's a walkway between Toast and the OM restaurant, and this is on the wall there, and it's really nice in there. They have plants in there and whatever, but just we're always talking about art in the downtown, and I thought this was a nice.
Was it the Toast folks that did it?
Yes, it was actually. I'm glad you said that because I meant to mention that. Yes, and the people I talked to when I went in, they weren't sure who it was. So, but I'm sure they'll let him know that it was recognized. So, and last year, Eckerd's Greenhouse contacted me, and they wanted to give $25 gift certificates to all of our beautification award winners, which was very, very nice. And so they sent them last year, and then we passed them on. And I should have had them by this evening, but they didn't arrive today or by today. So those who got a award tonight will be given, we'll send them out the $25 gift certificate to the Greenhouse. So, well, that's all this evening. Thank you, everyone.
I will say, despite the drought this year, the city looked beautiful, lots of homes being refurbished and spruced up, and it really looked nice. Thanks, everybody, and thank you, Peggy, again, for doing all that hard work. Our final presentation this evening is Chris Hughes from the DDA to tell us all the latest and greatest in our downtown area.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager. We have a lot to talk, so I'm going to talk really fast. I'm bringing you some updates about everything that's been going on in the downtown. We'll start with on-street bike parking. We have 5 new racks that are either being installed or are installed around town. You can't miss them. They're bright yellow, but we want to also thank the DPW for helping us get those installed and also helping us tweak the design to make them even more space efficient than they already are. So that was, we traded out 6 cars altogether for, I don't know, do the math, 12 bikes each, 6 times, I don't know, somebody help me out, 72 bikes, so 72 people parking in downtown without a car. Multi-space meters, thanks to the combined efforts of the city and the DDA and the police and all kinds of people meeting regularly, they will be coming soon. We hope by the end of the month, end of October, proving that this is one time when no change is good news. And even though our logo is often change is good, this time is no change is good because everybody will be able to use whatever they might happen to have on hand, a credit card, their change, or Park Mobile will still be in use. So that's exciting. We're happy to keep rolling that out. West 9 Mile is a work in progress, West 9 Mile west of Livernois. Again, a joint project with the city, the DDA, the DPW, and other powers that be that provide grant money as things go down the road, but that's going to change what things look like on the west side of West 9 Mile, and that is going to be rolling out over the next year, actually. We hope. Wayfinding, we've got 2 new signs going in that'll match the signs that are out there already, thanks to a grant from the Woodward Avenue Action Association. And also we've got a whole slew of historical signs that will be going in tomorrow, thanks to the work of the Historical Society and Sherry Wells, who has made all these arrangements to get them installed on various houses. So they look very nice. They tell you what year the house was built and all that kind of good stuff. So take a look at those. We'll probably post them online at downtownferndale.com. We hosted our first outdoor movie, Get Real. It was Ferris Bueller's Day Off on Vester Street, and we want to thank the Valentine Distilling Company and Ferndale Film Festival for sponsoring it, and also I have to give a shout out to the DPW for helping us find a creative way to get rid of some of the light pollution, and we were able to do that. And also Officer Paul Simpson for being on the job to keep the event safe. Just wanted to mention the DIY and the Funky Ferndale Art Fair. They were awesome. If you weren't there, make sure you mark off the third weekend in September next year. You can't miss it. One cool thing, we are going to have something that was created in downtown Ferndale being installed in the Heidelberg project. Can't give you exact details on that, but that's happening. And finally, the Woodward Dream Cruise. Just wanted to thank Michael Larry publicly for helping us tweak some questions for our online survey so that we could better improve that event going forward for all of our businesses and our guests that came to town. So that's a wrap-up, but there's still more. Thursday night, September 27th, 6 to 8 p.m., we are going to have Ignite, which is our launch pad for emerging entrepreneurs. It'll feature a panel discussion by Chris Best of the Rust Belt Market, Kent Albertson of Lyft, and a host of others. They'll be talking about surviving to succeed by figuring out how to capitalize your assets to finance your business dream, which is quite a lofty goal, but it can be done. And that's at 6 p.m. at the Loving Touch. That is totally free. We're also still looking for entries for How Do You Downtown Ferndale. Those are due September 28th. All it takes is 30 seconds of your time, even less, to say how you downtown Ferndale. Submit them to us via downtownferndale.com, and you can all get a bumper sticker. And I've got one for all of you that didn't get one for participating. That one turned out pretty good, by the way. Anyway, once you enter, you get a prize. If you get a bumper sticker, and then you're entered into a chance to win a downtown Ferndale shopping package. September 6th, I'm doing multitasking here. October 6th and 7th, we're going to have a Live Green Fair and Michigan Health and Wellness Expo. It entails a whole lot of things. Once again, visit downtownferndale.com. And they're coming to take them away. The DIA is going to be removing the masterpieces that are now part of our downtown landscape. The departure is scheduled for October 8th, so be sure to take a trip around town to see them all. In the meantime, we want to remind you to visit all the great art that is still in town via our Art Town exhibit. And I also just wanted to point out, in reference to Peggy's discussion about that Toast mural, which I also cannot find the name of. I've tried to reach out many times. But we have 9 different murals and outdoor art around town. We've got 5 different bus stop benches. We've got art all over town, so they're listed in the brochure that's up there. We'll have more of these available as time goes on. So be sure to take advantage of all the great art. Then I'm just going to roll through really quickly here. October 18th, it's going to be a furry tale evening in downtown Ferndale with Fido Does Ferndale. It's a great event from 5 to 9. Bring your dogs and all your canine friends and friends of your canines, and have a great evening downtown. October 27th is Downtown Trick or Treat from 4 to 6 p.m. I'm almost done. October 29th, the Annual Appreciation Awards. We invite you all to visit downtownferndale.com. Again, sign up for our newsletter and you'll be allowed to vote. We will want you to vote in who's your favorite new business, the favorite new building, favorite new signs, all kinds of new favorites that we would like to keep track of and recognize, because there's so much different activity going on. We need everybody to help us track it. And finally, here's where you can find us whenever you need to. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and, of course, downtownferndale.com. And that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. As always. Lots of, I think you brought us those when we did the video. Thank you, though. As always, lots of things going on downtown. Thank you, Chris. Next item of business would be call to audience. So we've done all this talking for 25 minutes. Now it's your turn. Call to audience is 30 minutes now, more time needed, if needed at the end of the meeting. 3 minutes to come on up and say anything you'd like that's not on the agenda, because I'll let you speak to that when we get to that portion of the agenda. So give us your name and your address, and 3 minutes is yours. We know this guy.
Mayor, good evening, members of council. Roger Schmidt, president of the Ferndale Historical Society. As of today, everyone in the city should have received a copy of this publication. This project started back in the spring. A gentleman named Tom Tesno came to us and asked if we would participate. Now, our participation didn't get us any money. We didn't make a dime off this, but neither did we spend any money. What we were promised was publicity, and that each house in town would get a copy, and we would get the publicity of contributing the historical information in this brochure. I would like to say that we submitted it all in the correct form to the publisher, and there was a software issue, and we had to resubmit the pictures, at which time several of them got mixed up, and the captions got mixed up as well. Not our fault. We apologize, but it's not our fault. Like I said, we would like to thank all the people that took out ads, made this possible, but we did not make any money off of it. There is a membership application in each brochure. We hope that we will get some new members. Membership to the Historical Society is only $10 a year. Your $10 gets you our quarterly publication, The Crow's Nest, which has always got some great history stuff about the city of Ferndale in it. A lifetime membership is only $100, so if anyone is interested, please contact us. And by the way, if anyone did not get a copy, we have a few at the museum. You could stop by during our business hours. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 10 in the morning to 1, or Saturday from 1 to 4, and we'll get you a copy. Oh, originally, I would like to say, we were supposed to participate in helping get them distributed, and there was a little problem on our end, and Mr. Tesnow picked up the ball and ran with it, and he's the one who distributed them all, he and his crew. And his crew was Tom Tesno Jr., Steve Fogel, Aaron Kowalski, and Dave Jakubowski. So they did a fine job. They got them all out in about a week and a half. So
they did.
Thank them. So thank you.
Roger, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else like to address council this evening? Yep, step right on up. Good evening.
Good evening. Ben Updike, 250 East Hazelhurst. I would like to request that council take a look at the ordinance on open burning. It's I just have it as section 10-21. Currently, it says that all burning of anything but charcoal, like non-ash producing, is illegal. I'm wondering if we can take a second look at that and say maybe responsible burning of firewood inside an enclosed fire pit. I have a very nice brick fire pit built by the original owner of my home, and I've been burning wood in it the past 5 years. So on Saturday evening I was burning, and then fire department shows up, and then unbeknownst to me, he's out there with the garden hose putting it out. So I'm wondering if we can change the language so that with restrictions that wood could be burned in an enclosed commercial fire pit or brick fire pit. On that note, it also says in the ordinance that you can be granted permission to burn. So I don't know if that's taken up right in front of you guys at this point. So I have a couple dates that we're having.
That I don't know, but your comments are timely, because we are evaluating or reevaluating the open burn ordinance as we speak.
Oh, great.
I know that the fire chief is at the next meeting, or within.
The draft has been circulated. It may come.
Is circulating a draft. to change it, and I think you'll be pleased to know that it will be allowed with some regulations and some, restrictions. It will be allowed. It won't be the outright ban that we have now. So it's very timely that you talk. But if you'd like, if you have specific concerns about yours, leave the chief your address and he can get back with you. But the ordinance itself is being reviewed as we speak.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. And you can tell your neighbors it was because you came here today to do that. Anyone else would like to speak to address council this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda are items that council considers routine, and we enact them in one motion unless someone from council wants to remove one of the consent agendas to the regular agenda. So let me read those now. Item A is the approval of the minutes of the special and regular meetings held September 10th, 2012, as submitted by the city clerk. B is a resolution authorizing Council Member Martin to attend the Michigan Municipal League's 2012 convention on October 3rd through the 5th, 2012, at an estimated cost of $1,100. C, approval of the contract with Rich and Associates for continued technical support on parking issues not to exceed $10,000 for the fiscal year 2012-13, and authorization for the mayor and city clerk to sign said agreement. D, authorization for firearms training for all 4 police department platoons, ammunition costs plus 4-day rental costs of $1,700 for firearms training to be paid from the training account, approximate total overtime cost of $14,200 to be paid from the drug forfeiture account, and authorization to increase the drug forfeiture overtime budget by the same amount as submitted by our police chief. E, consideration of replacement of Fire Station 2 cooking range. Was there an issue there, Chief? Somebody have an accident on the cooking range? I'm sorry. Approval of a purchase of a new GE range for $3,048.95, including delivery and removal of the old appliance, from Whitbeck Home Appliance, by the way. F, approval of the contract with FTL Construction Company, 42010 Kopernik Road, in Canton, Michigan, to replace the water main on Bonner from 9 miles south and looping on Saratoga from Bonner to Faro and onto Fielding between Livernois and Kensington, and that's as submitted by our interim DPW director. G, approval of the special event permit for Fido Does Ferndale on Saturday, October 18th, 2012, as detailed in the special events director's summary. H, approval of the bills and payroll as submitted by the city manager's office, subject to the review of the council finance committee. What is council's pleasure on the consent agenda?
I would move that we adopt the consent agenda in its entirety.
Support.
Moved by Galloway, supported by Piana. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Any discussion on the part of the public? Sure. Chris, come on, step up so we can, just so that you're at the mic. That's okay. Did we make a mistake on the FIDO?
It's Thursday, October 18th.
Thursday, October 18th. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. We'll reflect that in the minutes. Anything else on the consent agenda? Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Council members Martin?
Yes.
Piana?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Mayor Coulter?
Yes, thank you. That the consent agenda is adopted. Next order of business would be regular agenda item A, consideration of appointment to the Board of Review. Let me find that in my packet. Sherilyn, do you want to introduce
Certainly.
that? Thank you.
We have a vacancy on the Board of Review for an alternate member. We've been searching for quite a while, if council remembers. You've seen a few applications. And then we were pleased to get an application from, sorry, I don't have it in front of me. Hang on. Carolyn Beeman, who has served on city boards and commissions in the past. Assistant City Manager, Finance Director, Treasurer Hugh Banks reviewed her resume. Ms. Hugh Banks is now in charge of the Board of Review, given that we no longer have a city treasurer, and she's taken over those duties, and she approves of this candidate. This is a council appointment, so it's at your pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, I've known Carol for some time. I think she's got a good temperament and certainly has background with, I think, 20 years of appraisal experience to serve on the Board of Review. So I would move that we confirm the appointment of Carolyn Beeman to the Board of Review as an alternate member for a term ending December 31st, 2013.
Support.
Moved by Galloway, supported by Martin. Other comments or questions on this item?
I'm just really grateful she's willing to serve. She's served on a number of committees before, and she's very qualified for this, I think.
Extremely qualified, and I guess she recently retired, which is why she has a little bit more time, and I appreciate that she's willing to give some of it to us. So
She's going to work as a precinct inspector as well. So.
Excellent.
Very
Excellent,
grateful for
excellent.
her retirement.
Okay.
Got bored after 2 months. I think a little long break of that, but
Very thrilled to have her experience on the Board of Review, which is very difficult, sometimes challenging board to be on.
All right, with that, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Council members Piana.
Yes.
Galloway.
yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Coulter.
Yes, thank you. That appointment is adopted. Regular agenda item B is the approval of a one-year agreement for use of the city's southwest storage yard as a transfer site for leaves by the cities of Oak Park, Pleasant Ridge, Huntington Woods, and Lathrop Village, and authorization for the mayor and city to sign said agreements as submitted by our interim DPW director, who is at the stand. Lloyd, you want to introduce this item for us?
You've pretty much stole my thunder. So that was my request, and my recommendation would be that council allow the mayor and the city clerk to sign the agreement. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. As you also note from the memo, there is a host fee, and all the equipment and labor charges that are associated with each community will be paid accordingly. So.
And we have done this in the past, have we not?
Well, a number of years.
Yes.
7 or 8 years.
Yep.
My only question, is there anything different from this contract from previous years?
I think the tonnage may be slightly different, but
Yeah,
it's an estimated tonnage, and it will reflect ultimately, the actual tonnage will be the basis by which each community contributes to the cost.
The agreement allows for a reckoning to take place within 30 days of the end date of December 15th. And so at that point, we'll submit bills, and they have to reimburse us for actual expenses.
In years past, when we've done this, has there been any issues or complaints that anybody's aware of from the residential areas surrounding the yard?
I checked into that today. Actually, no. Great. None at all. We tend to move the product out of there. We have a guy there full-time for the 6 or 8 weeks that he's, it's leaf season. And so we move the product out of there right away. There's trucks lined up at 6 a.m. and they go through the entire day.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? We need a motion.
I move that the one-year agreement to use the city's southwest storage yard as a transfer site for use by the cities of Oak Park, Pleasant Ridge, Huntington Woods, and Lathrop Village be approved, and that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign said agreements.
Support.
Moved by Piana, supported by Galloway. Any other questions or comments before we vote on this item? Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Council members Galloway.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Piana. Yes. Mayor Coulter.
Yes, thank you. That item is adopted. Lloyd, appreciate bringing that forward. Next item of business would be called to council. I see our police chief in the back. Chief, anything for the good of the city in addition to your resolution?
And thank you, Your Honor. I have 2 things this evening. Number 1, I would like to thank the community and everyone that is seated up here that participated in the Cleveland fundraiser last Thursday. It was heartfelt and inspiring, and we were able to raise, we wanted to raise $5,000 for the family, and we raised 4 times that amount. We raised over $21,000 in one evening. And it did send a message, I think, not only how much we care about the family and what had occurred, but also it was an awareness night for drinking and driving. And I think that message was sent to the community here and at large, and I thought it was very well done, very tastefully done. And a shout out to Brian Kramer for his participation and assistance with Officer Scott Blanchard, who also coordinated that from the Ferndale Police Officers Association. They just did an outstanding job, and it really was a sight to be seen that evening. And the second thing is that on September 29th, Saturday, will be the 5th National Prescription Drug Take-Back Program, sponsored by the Drug Enforcement Administration. We will have an officer who is assigned to the DEA to be in our lobby all day Saturday to collect unused, unwanted, and expired prescription drugs, and they will be disposed of properly. This is the 5th time that we've done that. We usually get 20 to 30 pounds of unused and expired prescription drugs, and then they are disposed of properly at that point. So anyone in the community, doesn't have necessarily have to be from Ferndale. We were just one of the transfer spots. So anybody that has these type of things in their house, they can feel free to drop them off here at the Ferndale Police Department in the lobby. Thank you, and that's all I have.
Very good. Thanks, Chief. Chief Sullivan, anything from the fire department? All right. Lloyd, anything else from the DPW? All right, thank you. Sherilyn from the clerk's office.
Yes, I've been announcing for some time that we expect our first round of AV ballots to be mailed out on September 27th, which is this Thursday. However, we've been notified by the county there have been some hiccups in the programming phase, and programming will not be ready until Monday. So now we are looking at getting that first group of AV ballots in the mail on October 3rd.
Okay.
And also just want to remind everyone that the deadline to register to vote to be eligible for November is coming up. It is October 9th. If you are not sure if you're registered, you can check michigan.gov/vote to find out whether or not you're registered, or you can call my office.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, and Sherilyn, I know you've said this before, but I think it bears repeating because it's still a question that comes up. The citizenship question on the ballot. Do they have to check it? Do they not?
The citizenship question is not on the ballot. It's on the application for a ballot.
Pardon me. That's correct.
Currently, the law does not require voters to answer the question. Unless that changes, we will not be requiring voters to answer the question. There is possible lawsuit pending. There's a lot of talk among the politicians. So we're waiting to see what happens. We hope to have resolution well in advance of training our election inspectors. But it does bear note that if you have somehow managed to register to vote without being a citizen, just want to remind you that it is a felony to vote if you're not a citizen.
That's correct.
But City of Ferndale will follow the law, and we'll do our best to keep things clear for our voters.
I appreciate that.
What's the last day again? The 9th?
October 9th is the last day to register to
Is
vote.
that for Michigan or is that national?
That is Michigan, 30 days prior to an election.
Thank you. City Manager.
Just a friendly reminder for those who are interested, the Polar Environmental hearing for their permit is being held this Thursday, starting at 6 p.m. at the Ferndale High School. From 6 to 7 o'clock will be an overview of the permit that they're requesting, and from 7 to 9 p.m. will be open to the public to provide comments. And as well, for those that can't make that public hearing, that they are accepting email and mail correspondence through Thursday, again, September 27th. And I think that's all I have for now.
Wonderful. Dan Christ, anything from the attorney?
Just one item, Mayor, just following up on Mr. Updike's comment about the open burning.
Yes.
Current ordinance, a draft of a proposed amendment to that ordinance has been provided to the fire department. I would expect any comments and revisions to be incorporated into council for a recommendation for your next council meeting.
Excellent. Thank you. Councilman Martin.
Yep, a couple things. Just an update on the residential parking zone. As we promised, we were going to run the program through the summer and come back and kind of remeasure to see how we've done, if we're able to move the mark on satisfaction in parking in those areas. We're going to move forward with another survey to remeasure, to collect resident feedback, and we'll have another town hall meeting probably the first week of November. We'll bring residents in to discuss the program and do a further analysis about how we move forward. We'll bring to council for future plans around that and modifications to the program based on feedback and our experience. But I think anecdotally, overall, I think it's been pretty successful this summer. The other thing, I've got two other things. One, I just want to thank you for approving the travel expense to the conference for the Michigan Municipal League. I think this is a really great conference, so for one of us to go to talk about community development and design and really a focus on placemaking, I think it'll be good that Ferndale's represented, and I'll certainly bring all that good information back. And then lastly, this Friday is homecoming, right? The parade starts at 5 o'clock at Geary Park. And then please come on out, support our school, support our team, and enjoy a good football game and a great marching band. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Piana.
Thank you. I wanted just to give a shout out to Trevor, who came to council last year to get permission to grow his farm on 8 Mile Road, and it's near my neighborhood, and I drive on 8 Mile every day. And I just wanted to say thank you for maintaining that garden and making it look great. The sunflowers are like 12 feet tall, and really adds some visual dynamic to the park. So thank you, Trevor, for keeping up on that. Also, you can eat those Ferndale Farm tomatoes at Local Kitchen in one of the meals. So I thought that was a great treat. And I'm going to make a public announcement on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, but they need the Fall Hilton Festival is this Saturday, and they are asking for volunteers to help out. I'm sorry.
Saturday, October 13th.
Saturday, October 13th, sorry. And I just wanted to let people know that they are looking for volunteers to help out and sell tickets and manage fair games and whatnot. So I always have a great time when I go to the Hilton Festival. And of course, my update wouldn't be an update without transit. So I wanted to let you know that where we are with the Woodward Alternative Analysis. Currently, the consulting team, which is led by SEMCOG, is the project manager of this $2 million project. And they hired an engineering and consulting firm to do all the technical work. And one of the first things that we need to give to the federal government is a purpose and need statement of why this review of mode of transit is necessary on Woodward. And that is due to the federal government very soon. And then after that's submitted, there will begin to be public engagement activities, which they're currently planning for now, and probably have more information mid-October about what those will be and what that means for Ferndale. In relation to that is the Regional Transportation Authority legislation, which was on and then off and on and off. And the legislation is back in the House Transportation Committee this week on the 27th. And the House is taking testimony. It's not a vote, but they're hearing it again. And the signs look like it probably won't pass before the end of the year, but the governor is pushing this forward because it's one of his major initiatives. And I can't tell you how important it is for that to pass for our project on Woodward to build mass transit for the region. And we can't expect to have better transit ever if we don't create the institutions to operate it. So if you know anybody who supports regional transit in Southeast Michigan, please encourage them to call their elected officials and have their friends and family who live outside of Southeast Michigan to contact their elected officials in support of transit. That's where I think it's getting stuck. So that is my transit update.
Thank you very much. Councilman Galloway.
Not much this evening, but after the homecoming game this Friday, the class of 1987 is having their 25th reunion at Rosie O'Grady. So if there's anybody who's not on Facebook, here's your invitation.
Cool. All right. Just a couple quick things from me. For me, speaking of things going on in Lansing, there are some legislators there who are revisiting the fireworks law and the drastic changes that they made last year to expand the amount and types of fireworks that are allowed. Personally, I thought it was a bit out of control this year, and I joined with 12 other mayors in this area to write a letter encouraging them to revisit and revise the law and to allow some logical and sane local controls that would help us put some limits to what are allowed. And so we'll see what happens, but I've heard from those legislators and they're interested in our experiences here, so hopefully there'll be some revisions to the fireworks law. I'm hopeful of that. Secondly, I guess, speaking of the football team, they had a big win last week, right? My sources tell me that if they hadn't have beaten Groves last week, the playoffs would have been history. So they had a big win. The playoff hopes are still alive, and the big homecoming game this Friday. So I encourage everybody to go on out and support the football team. And with that, our meeting is adjourned.